Third time's the charm here, Sal. I think we've got it now.
Hopefully, hopefully.
Yeah. So, as we were saying, last week you brought to my attention Richie Taylor, and we've been looking into some shenanigans there at the Children's Jewish Museum. Let's see, are we live here? Yeah, it looks like we are finally. I think people should be able to hear us. How are you today, Sal?
I mean, it's a little bit frustrating. We've been trying to get this up and running a few times, and I got so many phone calls and things going on, and I don't know. So let's get back to what we had originally spoken about. We were talking about Richie Taylor. Guy was deputy chief, NYPD, somehow got promoted numerous times, right? We stumbled upon this last week because I've been on top of Richie Taylor amongst other people that have been caught with their hands in the cookie jar stealing time. That's official misconduct. It should be a charge. Just to go back in the NYPD, look up Thomas Fabrizi, he's a lieutenant. They said they did the same thing and they charged him. So they charged him, but they're not charging three separate individuals right now. Richie being the main one because he is an actual member of service, uniform member of service, NYPD. 800 hours, some ridiculous numbers. Actually, no. His actual number, they don't want to release. There was a lot of hours he took. So we stumbled upon this because Devorah Halberstam has been someone that's basically, she has been covering for him allegedly and keeping him afloat. He should have been retired a long time ago, terminated a long time ago. And she is the grant officer, I believe, of the Brooklyn's Jewish Children's Museum. And we stumbled upon this last week, and just at a glance, you and I saw the 501c3 and the paperwork there, which was very shady stuff. She's making 5 times the amount of the manager of this place, which is ridiculous, right? And then there's other stuff. So the more we kept digging, the more we keep seeing. But to go back to Richie Taylor, who's now CJB, he's at the Criminal Justice Bureau. Now he's got a big mouth. He's telling people that he's the liaison for the Jewish prisoners that enter the criminal justice system, which is, I've never heard of
What?
that. I don't know if, yeah,
Wait a
I
minute.
know.
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm sorry. I was distracted by some of the technical issues, but we seem to have it pretty well straightened out now. Now, so far, everything that you've said, I was familiar with. There's a lot of questions about the Jewish Children's Museum and this woman, Halberstam. So you're telling me that Richie Taylor says that he's some sort of representative? So if a person gets arrested for committing murder because they're Jewish, they have some special representative in the NYPD?
Correct. That's what he's claiming.
How can that be legitimate?
I don't know. Gotta ask
Where
him.
was that claim made? That's the first I'm hearing that.
This is
I'm
the
not doubting
claims.
you. I'm just saying that's so outrageous.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when, he's claiming this stuff. His corrupt, the problem again in the police department, especially with the latest thing I just reported on today, there seems to be a secondary set of rules here where they tolerate certain people that commit the same crime as others, allegedly, if you want to call it a crime. Official misconduct allegedly is a crime, stealing time, but they're not treating them equal. So it seems that, and I was the first to break this other story about the director of the NYPD Health and Wellness section, which is a civilian, right? That was Director Graziano, the head psychologist, psychiatrist, all this stuff. Well, he got caught taking 1,000 hours. And I report on it first, then the New York Post report on it because DCPI, who works for this soccer mom, decided to say, we'll give you this little article. Just don't write about these other things that came out anyway. And I report on that stuff too before them. And here's the deputy director, this David Tazal guy, doing the same thing. He's 800 hours. So we have 3 individuals that the show has reported on the Sal Greco show platform, and they're not being treated the same as Thomas Fabrizi, who they said they paraded him around and said he official misconduct, misuse of time, misuse of this, misuse of that. What are these guys doing? They were working out of their private practice while on NYPD time. And Taylor, forget about it. There's so many
Wait,
allegations I lost count, including
private practice doing what?
they have their own they have their own practice because they're psychiatrists, psychologists and psychiatrists. You can look this up. I put it up. So they're working on taxpayer dime on their private practice. See those two guys on the left? That was some of the. This guy in the middle there, this David Tazal guy, got caught recently. They didn't audit the NYPD. Why? Because of the first time I reported on everything. The first report was on Graziano, which was found to be true. I listen, this isn't I don't post hyperbole. I'm not based on feelings. I don't do things like I'm in a locker room spreading gossip and rumors. I hit you with things that I vet that are 99% going to be either true or are true, right?
Hairbag free.
And then you hear about it, and then the Daily News or whatever writes about it. Oh, no, it wasn't exclusive. It was the Sal Greco show that knew about it first. These are issues that are affecting you, Jason, and the New York City taxpayers because you're paying a guy's salary who's double dipping. These guys are working on their other career, wherever it is, their other job, their other office. Taylor, God knows he's involved in 20 different things, yet they still have a job. Paying back the money, what is that when you're taking? That's like, I'm going to steal from you, and the money I'm stealing, I'll pay it back, and don't ask any questions. No
Right,
crime
that's
committed.
the bigger issue, not just the double dipping, but they're criminals, and they're supposed to be the police.
Yeah, that's the problem, and this is a stain and a disgrace. And the soccer mom who's claiming we're going to root out all corruption, and we're also, what's the other line? Crime is down. When crime is up in your own facilities, apparently, and you can't control that. And then you got money, taxpayer money being wasted, and there's I don't know, when are we going to solve this? When is anyone going to be held accountable? You don't throw this Thomas Fabrizi guy in front of the camera and say, well, this is the worst thing ever, and then say, oh, well, let's just forget about that. Because Thomas Fabrizi didn't do anything that these guys didn't do, right? I mean, they said he took 100 hours or something. These guys, I'm telling you, in Richie Taylor's case, and by the way, the person that runs internal affairs, Eddie Thompson, who is going to be sued not only by me, but other people, is directly involved in all these major cases because from what I understand from my sources, that are right there, right in One Police Plaza, right there in the information circle there, the close circles. This guy does things where he's doing things based on what he believes the soccer mom wants. So it's kind of like you saw a video by James O'Keefe where they were interviewing people that work for the Trump administration, but they said, we do things based on what we believe the president wants. They never tell him anything. So this guy's operating on a level where he does things based on what he believes she wants. There is no, hey, we have this case, because you are supposed to do things here that are supposed to be done the same way they've been done for many other, in the last couple of decades. You're supposed to follow the protocols. Another individual I wrote an article about, I have that up too on salgreco.com, and I put it up on X and Substack if you guys follow me there. The case of Captain Kai E. Bowen, who was arrested because he came home and the stepfather, or I say the person involved with his ex-wife or whatever it is, was abusing his family member. Now, that person was arrested the day prior. He saw him. He was going to hold him. He was holding him for, that's the case. That's it, the selective prosecution. So this is it, this article. And they arrested him. They treated him as a criminal. They claimed he beat this guy up. That's false. The entire criminal case was thrown out. It was, once again, Chief Thompson that pushed this. We got to prosecute him. All the cops, everyone involved is terrified of what happened. This man was put through hell. He was held in a 103 precinct for hours. Nobody told him anything. He wasn't allowed to leave. And guess what? He suffered a stroke because of all of this stuff. A guy that played football, he's probably in better shape than even me.
Really?
He's like a rock. Jason, this
When
guy works out.
when did he have a
He's now
stroke?
suffered. He had a stroke because they
When?
falsely imprisoned him and arrested him and dropped the case, all because, hey, we got to cover our rear ends here. Meanwhile, he didn't. He grabbed the guy that was abusing his family member, and that guy was charged. But yet, you're saying he assaulted him and did all these other things that wasn't true. The whole case got dismissed. So now that falls on the lap of Chief Thompson, who, by the way, has been fraternizing with a detective for years. And this detective went from third grade detective, nobody even knows how she got that, to first grade in 4 years, working underneath his wings. And there's all kinds of allegations with that. Oh, and his executive as well. His executive, who's the second in command of internal affairs, he's fraternizing with a administrative aide. That's someone who's a secretary, who's just a civilian. They're fraternizing with that person. It is a disgrace what's going on there.
Is this Edward Thompson?
That's it.
So Zoran is tweeting about him.
Really?
It says, as Chief of Internal Affairs, Edward A. Thompson will be responsible for preserving integrity and rooting out
He just
corruption
did that?
of all
Is that true?
forms in the police.
He just did that?
But that's January 1st,
Oh, okay.
2025.
Okay, because that is completely false. Actually, no. January 1st, 2025, that's not Zoran Mamdani. That's
Oh, you're
Eric.
right. Wow, that's weird. But now it appears, because it's still NYC mayor,
Yeah.
but it appears Zoran. Oh, wow.
Yeah, no.
See, that they shouldn't do that.
That should be archived.
Right. It should be archived mayor, and it should be Mayor Zoran. That's weird, huh, Sal?
This guy is Jason. He's been a hitman for internal affairs his whole life. I could tell you they have these annual galas or for all the executives or just all the African American executives. This guy walks in and nobody knows how he got promoted or where he came from.
So
but
now, wait
they
a
know
minute.
one thing: he's a hitman.
We get things for African American NYPD, Jewish NYPD. Why is it so segregated like this? This sounds like a huge problem. Shouldn't it just be all NYPD? And then if you're a criminal, you go to jail and that's it. Nobody cares if you're Jewish, black, white, whatever.
I don't like what I'm seeing with this. This case, and this is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And all these cases I am referencing, you will be seeing in legal paperwork, and you will be hearing about these cases shortly. Mine is one of them, by the way. This guy Thompson, I don't know how to explain this. You can't have a corrupt guy running the place that's supposed to be about integrity, and he selectively is enforcing certain rules and is blatant. This one's right in your face. What I'm saying, what just happened that I posted today. And the three people that I referenced, which is a chief and two civilians that run the health and wellness section of the NYPD, both 1,000 hours and 800 hours. That is stealing time. You claim that Thomas Fabrizi did this, yet you destroyed him. He was paraded around all over the media as the guy doing all this crazy stuff.
So,
and
why did they
this
do
is
that,
corruption,
though?
Jason.
Is
your
it
money.
just that they get people to steal the time, and then the second you don't do what they want you to do, they get you in trouble for it? It sounds like a lot of people are doing this.
It is. This is like a widespread corruption thing, and I don't know. I don't know why they're treating it like this. In my opinion, this needs to be looked at, and I don't know if I know the mayor's staff and the mayor watches. So does the soccer mom. They love watching whatever I do. You need to clean house. I don't really care whether he's, this mayor claims he's a socialist, a Democrat, a Republican, Muslim, Jewish. You have a serious problem in your police department. You're now the mayor. You inherited this mess, unfortunately. And this is not the woman to lead. And I know it's all political, but she refuses to address these things. And this guy, Thompson, is operating as if he knows what the police commissioner wants. And she's being undermined as well. And it's a mess. and I mean, the media makes a big deal about some captain making references. I mean, look at what you have. People that are stealing right in front of your eyes, and there's no accountability. Oh, you're allowed to leave the police department, Jason. Don't worry about paying the money back or any prosecution. Well, you could pay us back, but we're not going to tell you how much it really is because Thompson's running the show there.
So
So,
that gets back to Richie Taylor, right?
yep,
So
and
he
it
paid.
spins round circle again.
Well, he paid the money back, but they're just like, oh, well, that's all right. I mean, if you go and rob a bank, they don't say, ah, that's all right, just give the money back. You have to be prosecuted for that.
Exactly.
And so Taylor, no.
I'm in agreement with you. Why is that not why is that not occurring, Jason?
So let's get back to the Jewish Children's Museum and whatever it is that Richie Taylor is claiming that he's some kind of liaison, because there is something very strange going on over there. You know, when we get to the sponsor exclusive segment, Sal, which we're going to do, we started a little late here because of the technical problems, but people are going to be able to join us by subscribing on thesalgreco.substack.com or viewers on crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, subscribestar.com, patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. We're going to go into some of the documents and things. You know, this museum, it's the building is worth something like $39 million or something like that. And
Yeah,
I upset some people last week when I said that there's crappy buildings all around. I shouldn't have said that. What I meant is we've got a certain style of low, not high-rise buildings, and they've been there. You know, these are townhouses that have been there for a long time, not individual $39 million construct. It looks to me like somebody owned this land, maybe made some kind of screwy deal. Who knows if this was an off-market real estate deal? Who was involved in the construction? Anytime you see a $39 million construction job, that could be $20 million worth of theft. We really don't know. And it's happening through nonprofits, one of which is associated with a religious organization. Now, I did speak to Charles Ortel about this since our last show, and Charles knows much more about this than I do. I should say, these are allegations. Neither Sal nor I are accusing anybody of any crime. We're just looking at documents that seem suspicious. And one of the issues that really comes to mind is that when it's a religious organization, even if it's a 501c3, it doesn't have the same reporting requirements that other non-religious charities do. So it just reeks of being this, and not just this Jewish charity, any religious charity. It is like it's like a lamp attracting flies. These things attract fraudsters.
Also, the reason this even came to our attention is this woman, who is again the grantor of this place, somehow makes $270,000 a year for that. I mean, that's a whole nother story. But the fact that this woman, the allegations have always been that this woman is one of the main people. We also have Joel Eisdorfer, by the way, a former special advisor to
Wait, but hang
Eric
on.
Adams, that was
One of the
spotted
main people
everywhere.
doing what?
She has been covering for him for many years. I mean, she was so powerful. I believe she used to teach the rookie or the recruit classes in the FBI Academy.
Yeah,
She
well,
came in and
but that's what we're going to get to, because her
this
son
is
was killed in a shooting on the Brooklyn Bridge. So her son was involved. We got to get into all of this, Sal, because it's so crazy. This Brooklyn Jewish Children's Museum is right across the street from the Chabad, the Lubavitcher, where all those tunnels were being dug. Now, whatever
right.
happened with all of that? Did they ever investigate that and find out what was going on in there?
People got arrested, but you never really heard anything more about because again, this is a community where, you have one of these people, and some of them are real, like rabbis, some of them aren't. They don't have the qualification, but everyone's a rabbi apparently, and everyone's got a handout. So you have to distinguish who's real from who's not real. Then you have this Richie Taylor guy running around as look, you're either a police officer or you're a politician and you represent the community. You can't do both because it's going to crisscross into the madness that we're seeing here. And the only reason any of this has now gotten a spotlight is because of Richie Taylor. So he brought all this attention to the Brooklyn Jewish Museum and everything else that's going on there. if there's anything going on, it's because this guy. And by the way, the police department's association, meaning through this guy, is now become the issue of what we're looking at, because this guy's corrupt. There's all kinds of allegations with him, right? Bribery allegations. There's the other allegation about the helicopter flying over his home, the NYPD helicopter for his daughter's birthday. Look, the NYPD is making an exception for him, and one of the reasons was Devorah Halberstam, who was so big that I don't know how you make one person's voice so much louder than everyone else. And somehow this woman has been joining the hip with this guy. And again, it's that association that brings you the eyeballs. I mean, I learned this, because of who my friend was. All the eyeballs came to me because your friend, he's Trump's advisor, blah, blah, blah. Well, now you're involved with someone who clearly, though, did commit a crime, unlike my friend. So now those eyeballs are coming your way because somehow this person is not charged. And there's a reason. Someone called the district attorney's office and said, don't charge him. And that's not right.
Let's get people up to speed on this for a second, because I don't fully understand it yet. But in 1994, there was a shooting on the Brooklyn Bridge. Ari Halberstam was a 16-year-old guy who was shot and killed by Rashid Baz on the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, as I understand it, Ari Halberstam, first of all, he's Devorah's. Oh, look, here she is with Robert Mueller.
Why is she this important that she's
special? But here's what's interesting about this. So Ari Halberstam, he's involved with the Chabad, and he goes around, they go around, I should say, in that vehicle that we saw outside. They've got this thing, the mitzvah tank, which people have maybe seen around New York City. I personally find this extremely annoying. They drive around in an RV playing this really loud and terrible music. They run up to me and they say, oh, are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? And they're trying to, promote Judaism, which is not normally what is done. It annoys me. Okay. So this guy is a Muslim taxi driver. I don't know what went on. Maybe he objected to what they were doing. And I'm not saying they don't have a right to do it, but there was some sort of altercation on the bridge. Oh, and by the way, the reason I brought it up is because when I've seen these buses around and they say, oh, do you want to, come into the bus? I say, not only do I not want to come into the bus, you guys are playing this loud, annoying music, irritating everybody around here. You're making people upset. You're giving us, by saying us, they know that I'm Jewish. I say, you're giving us a bad name. And the young kids, when I said this, got very aggressive and upset and started yelling at me. And the older gentleman who was with them, their teacher, their rabbi, whatever he was, said to these younger teenage kids, no, he's right. Don't upset people. And he turned the music down. So I'm just saying, I have personally observed these teenage Jewish kids getting aggressive and obnoxious. And I don't know what happened on that bridge. Whatever they did, it doesn't justify shooting and killing them. But there was some sort of altercation on the bridge where this taxi driver, who had a gun in the car and apparently a bulletproof vest and some, rounds of bullets. You have a gun, you're going to have magazines of bullets in the car. And they shot, he fired several shots, shot several of the students, and Ari Halberstam was killed. Now, what's interesting is that this was just originally treated as a road rage incident, which is what it sounded like to me from the, let's just say, shooting. It was originally classified as a road rage incident, but then it became, so then it became a terrorism incident. And somehow, see, they say it's a terror attack. So here's CBS News. Yeah. And see, I just become very suspicious when I see this woman hanging out with Robert Mueller. This happened in 1994. Now remember, in 1993, that was when Greg, what's his name, Scarpa, was in jail, passing those kites through the jail with Ramzi Youssef. and they said he tried to, plan 9/11. There was basically a lot of things that the FBI was doing to build us up to 9/11. And a lot of people have a lot of questions about 9/11. And then there's this shooting that they say is a terrorist attack. Sounded like it was some kind of road rage incident. And then now the kid's mother, who has no law enforcement training whatsoever, no counterterrorism expertise before this, she becomes this big liaison to the FBI and the NYPD. And now, as you pointed out, she's an executive in charge of providing grants for this Jewish Children's Museum, which has net assets of $7 million, net income of almost negative $1 million, expenses of $3.3 million, and she is being paid $250,000 a year as the, what's her title? Let's just get this right here for a second.
Grant officer, I think.
Grant director.
Grant director.
Okay. But when I checked this with Charles, there are no grants being given out.
Which is a problem.
Seems suspicious.
And this is what we're saying. Listen, I know it was a terrible thing, her son being killed. Nobody is for that. And that guy should be in jail for the rest of his life, if not, the death penalty, whatever it is. Okay. But I referenced this with Tim Pearson, who you remember on 9/11, Tim Pearson was at the World Trade Center, and he did a lot in this time period, right? So do we say he's a hero? He went out there. He was leading by example. Remember, he was an inspector or captain at that time. All these years later, though, he's doing this. Where's my crumbs? He's in these migrant shelter contracts. I mean, sexual harassment lawsuits all over the place. Now the city doesn't. He should have never been defended. You have to separate what this person or what happened to this person back in the day versus their current actions. So when you say, oh, the mom or whatever, no. That has nothing to do with what's going on today as the grant director of that Brooklyn Jewish Children's Museum versus Tim Pearson, where's my crumbs? Same thing, right? So people need to separate those two things before anything else, because no one's picking on anyone. This isn't a hit job. I know someone else said that out there, but what can I say?
This is
I can say a lot about this
including
person.
Grants of no grants. There's no grants.
This is a problem. I don't know if people recognize this yet.
No grants.
This is a problem.
And she's getting 5 times as much money. So again, let's do this, Sal. We're going to make our way over to the sponsor exclusive segment here. We're going to dig into these documents. I hope people will join us on thesalgreco.substack.com, crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, and subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Thanks everybody for your patience, and I'm sorry about those sound problems before. It's been solved, and we'll see everybody over there. Technology.